there really isn't much that that you can say when you have a performance like that, where your players are just really locked into what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it. It was just an incredible effort by the entire team, and especially these three. And you know, there's been a lot of great moments at Connecticut and a lot of great moments in our NCAA history, but and especially for our two seniors and the way these guys played, I couldn't be prouder of a group of players than I am right now.
Thanks, Coach. We'll take questions for the student athletes. Please raise your hand. State your name and affiliation. Please address a specific student athlete. Any questions for a student athlete? We'll start right here.
Doug Feinberg, the Associated Press. Stewie, you said you wanted to win 4 titles. You're halfway there, 2 Final Four MVPs. I mean, what does it mean for you to have 2 titles in 2 years and a chance to win a couple more?
I think that, to be able to have 2 national championships under my belt, I think it's, it means a lot. And I think that, each team has been different, and I'm really happy that we could send Steph and Breanna off on this type of note. They deserved it. And, when it's time to get back to work, we'll do that. But right now, we're just enjoying this moment.
Question down here from Richard.
Yeah, Richard Deitch, Sports Illustrated. Stefanie, the points in the paint tonight were, huge, probably as huge as we've ever seen in a title game. What is it like being in the post, knowing that you could pretty much do what you want on that night?
It's pretty nice, I gotta say. Right from the beginning of the game, we went in and took advantage of the size that we had against them. And right when we realized what an advantage we had, we just kept kind of pushing it at them. And we never really backed down. And I give a lot of credit to my guards. They got me the ball. Stewie, we got her the ball a lot in the post too. So, when we got it, we just did what we wanted and finished it.
Question back here from Michelle.
Yeah, this is for Kalina. Can you, Kalina, can you just put in perspective, with all the stuff you've been through this season, to play as well as you did tonight, and kind of just put that in perspective for us?
It's a great way to end my season, especially the way, like you said, it started out, and I just can't say how happy I am to just be able to win it for Stefanie and Breanna, and for all of us to play the way we did tonight. I think that this is one of the best, team wins that we've had all season.
Question here.
Michelle Smith, ESPNW. Stefanie, when I was out on the court, I talked to Breanna, and she said you and her had a conversation last night, and she said, we've got you, we've got your back. Did you feel like your teammates had your back tonight?
Absolutely. I knew from the beginning of the season that we were going to have a great team and that we had a lot of talent and we had a lot of potential. And coming into this tournament, I knew this team had both mine and Breanna's back. Coach really emphasized with them, kind of sending their seniors off with the right note. And I couldn't have asked for better teammates my senior year. We had a ton of fun this year, and I'm just proud to be with these girls. And, I thank them every minute of that game that they helped me get national championship senior year.
Question over here on the right.
Tyler James, South Bend Tribune. Kalina, there was so much attention towards Breanna and Stefanie leading into the game. At any point, did you feel like maybe you were the forgotten piece and you could make a mark tonight?
No, I didn't know that. I was just still on the team.
We never forget her.
Yeah. Still an essential.
That's all that matters.
She's an essential.
She's an essential.
There's 5 essentials. There's 11? 11 essentials on this team. So, I think all of us just went into the game trying to contribute as much as we could.
Anything more for the student athletes?
Nope.
Can we get over here, please? The mic? Thank you.
Stefanie, can you talk about what it is about this program where when it is a national championship game, this program plays its best?
There's not much to explain about it. I think it's just you come into every year knowing you have one ultimate goal, which is to win the national championship. So you know when you get there, you're so prepared that there's no other ending than winning, you know? So you just go into it and you prepare all year. And I think a lot of people said that we had a lot of pressure going into this game, but when you're prepared, I mean, we didn't feel the pressure at all. We went into it knowing we had this game. You know, we had a lot of confidence, and right from the beginning, we just never backed down. And I think it's something that every year, every team does when you're at Connecticut.
Question back here from Michelle.
Yeah, this is for Stefanie. You guys now have 9 titles, and I wondered if you could talk about what it means to be, you know, one of the people who gives this to Coach Auriemma. He is now the all-time, you know, leading winner in terms of titles in women's basketball. What that means to you, and also to have it be a perfect season on top, kind of the cherry on top.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's all right. You know, I don't know if he'll say it or whatever, but we're proud of him, and you know. Having 9 national championships is such an amazing accomplishment. And for us to have kind of that 2 out of the 9 it seems like a small little piece, but it's a piece of history and a piece of a legacy, you know, that he has created here at UConn. And seeing all the old players here back to kind of cheer us on in this game was something that I'll never forget. It's just a family, whether you're here 10 years ago, 3 years ago, or now. You're just connected, you know, you bleed blue, but literally, you know, you're just all connected as a family, and it's something that not a lot of people can say they are a part of. And obviously 40-0 is pretty solid, too.
Now we're
I
done.
said 40-0 is pretty solid.
Anything else for the student athletes? Okay, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
The Connecticut locker room is open until 11:08. We'll start with we'll take questions for Coach Auriemma. We'll start right down here in front.
Geno, Doug Feinberg, the AP. I mean, you probably couldn't write a better script in a sense for women's basketball for you guys. I mean, 40-0, perfect season. When your 9th title, break a record with Pat in Tennessee. Just, I mean, what does it mean to you to? You said you weren't a numbers guy yesterday, but what does it mean to have number 9 to cap off a perfect season against another unbeaten team here in Tennessee?
Well, I honestly believe this, that where it happened, whether it's here or some other city, really doesn't have any significance for me. That's never entered my mind. When you get reminded of it all the time about what it means, you start to think about what it means, and means we've done something that no one else has ever done. So you're flattered, and you're grateful, and you're all the things, you know, that come with this kind of accomplishment, of course. But that's not the driving force. That's not what motivates us at Connecticut. We're as Stefanie said, we try to do the right thing for the people that are there. If it means winning a national championship, great. If you come up short, there were a bunch of ex-players in the locker room after the game, and I think there were 6 players in there, and 4 of them had played on undefeated national championship teams. So as you start to look back and you see them sitting there, you're just more proud of the legacy that exists of what is Connecticut basketball, as opposed to, the number of championships.
Question here from Michelle.
Geno, it looked like you were a little emotional when you brought Bria and Steph off the court. Can you just talk about them and what this night meant to you in relation to them?
I probably haven't felt that, except a few times. But there's always a moment that kind of brings you to your knees sometimes. When Bria Hartley and Stefanie Dolson played their very first game at Connecticut, it was win number 79 in a row. That's a lot to be thrown into as a freshman. And second game of the year was Baylor. And then we went on to win, that record 90 in a row. And ever since that day, they played their very first game. I can't think of two people that have given every ounce of their energy and everything that they possibly have to give for the basketball program and the people at the University of Connecticut. That just doesn't happen very often. So when they came off the floor, I think we all knew exactly what was coming to an end. And even when it's as great as the ending was tonight, it's still coming to an end. And it really hit me really hard.
Question here from Richard.
Geno, in terms of game planning, it was very clear that you made a point of emphasis to go into the post. And you knew Achanwa wasn't there, but I imagine even in your wildest dreams, you could not have thought it would be as effective as it was. But specifically heading into the game, was that the point of emphasis, was to attack them low?
Yeah, it was. We thought that we thought that there were some advantages that we had, that whoever was guarding Stewie was going to have a tough matchup in the lane. And Stefanie, the same thing. They then changed up a little bit defensively and played a triangle and two where they were really guarding Stewie hard and Stefanie hard. Kalina hard. And as we spread those guys out all over the floor, then it left just a lot of openings in the lane, and we took advantage of it. But you don't go into the game thinking that you're going to, outscore another team by 30 points in the paint. You have an idea of what you want to do, but we kind of went back to some things that were working earlier this season, tried to get real comfortable. We hadn't been shooting the ball great coming in, so the last thing we wanted was to come out here and start firing jump shots, and we knew we had to score. We knew we had to get a good possession every time down because they're so hard to defend. Our defense today was unbelievable. It was incredible. To hold that team to 20 points in the second half, that's incredible.
Question back here, Michelle.
Coach, if you could also address with Kalina I guess, emotional, mental, physical hurdles she's had all this season to play as well as she has in the tournament and then cap it off tonight.
Earlier, Rebecca asked me, there's always themes that run through a season, and what was this one? And I really think that that Kay's season represented exactly what this was all about. It started with the injury in the Stanford game, and now all of a sudden we're down. Now we've got to play without one of our best players. And then she comes back, and it's another injury, and then it's mono, and it's just one thing after another. And I'm most proud of how she handled that whole adversity. That for her to play her best basketball, we talked about it before the NCAA tournament started. I said, okay, if we're fortunate enough to play 6 games, these 6 games could wipe out how frustrating the other 4 months were. And that's exactly what happened. She was unbelievable the entire tournament.
Question over here on the left.
Thanks. Lee Michelson, full court. Coach, on Sunday night, Marquisha Wright was the person who probably, more than anybody other than Caleb McBride, stepped up to fill some of the void left by Achanwa. Tonight, you held her virtually scoreless and I think 2 rebounds. How much did that factor into your game plan, containing her?
There wasn't any particular big guy that we were focused on. I think it was more what were we going to do with their shooters, how we were going to guard Caleb McBride, how we were going to guard Joe Lloyd, how we were going to guard when Michaela Mabry came in the game. And in the first half, we did an okay job, and then we did a terrible job towards the end of the half. We just knew we had to rebound the ball we knew we had to out-rebound them by a lot, not by a little. And because we scored so many points, I think Muffet had to go to offensive players on the floor. So she probably played those other guys to try to get points on the board more often than the way they played the other night. When points were just coming so easily, you can afford to have someone in there that maybe isn't an offensive player, but it's just going to crash the boards. But Stefanie Dolson played the game of her life and got every rebound. And that was the key.
Question right here from Doug.
Geno, you talked yesterday about how there are probably more eyeballs in this game because of the two undefeateds and the perfect seasons, and the casual fan may watch it. The last time I can remember something like that might have been the Stanford game a couple years ago when it was 2012 at the half and not the best basketball game. But it seemed tonight, the first half was really entertaining, both teams scoring stuff. I mean, big picture, do you think this may help what you guys are looking through? Maybe it could transcend the game and get more people to be interested?
Yeah, I think the final score probably maybe if that had been different, it could have been maybe even more. But anybody who watched that first half had to really admire both teams. The way we played, how hard we played, both teams, how hard we competed. I said this the other day, Notre Dame's the best team we played all year. No one else is even close. And I knew it was going to take an unbelievable effort for us to beat them. I told Muffet after the game, I don't think she got enough credit. She won Coach of the Year, but I don't even think she got enough credit for how her team performed all year long. That was an unbelievable team that we played tonight, and we played about as well as we played at any other time this season for sure.
Time for another question down here.
Mike Organ with the Tennessean. Geno, this is Nashville's first time to host the Final Four. How did the city do?
Well, it won't be the last time. It won't be the last time. We were talking earlier. I know there were some circumstances that why they haven't been able to have one here earlier. But now that you've got the building, you've got the hotels, you've got. I could probably count 50 people that travel down here with us that don't want to go home. They said that they want to move down here, and I think it's just perfect. It's not overwhelming. It's not a place you're going to get lost in. You don't have to, travel around for half hour, 40 minutes in a car to go find stuff. It's all right there, and the people have been absolutely amazing. As you know they would. I mean, you knew they would. This town has a great reputation. I'm sure they host great events. They're used to it, and I hope this becomes a regular destination, and I hope we come back here. I hope we're back here the next time they have it here.